Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. This is episode 201, weeks of bringing you van life content. We got a big show for you tonight, and I've got some real special guests to talk about gear upgrades in your van, whether you're DIY, maybe you've had your van a while, and maybe it's time for a new AC system, maybe you need a new max air fan, maybe you need to add some storage, maybe you want to replace those AGM batteries with lithium. We got some experts on tonight, and this is Josh and Zach from VanLife Outfitters. Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having us.
Of course. We kind of go way back a few years, right? Where did we meet? Was it Chattanooga?
Yeah, 20. I think 2022.
Yeah, I think so. So it's been a few years, and they're also the producers of Peace, Love, and Vans, the largest van festival in Southeast, really USA, right? We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff tonight, including van gear. So just want to kind of show this to the folks real quick. Maybe just tell us a little bit, Josh and Zach, about how you got started on this. Are you van builders or just gear suppliers and experts? And kind of tell us a little bit about your story there, please.
I mean, it all, my story with van life began a billion years ago when I was like 17 and I got my first camper van and, traveled around in it, fell in love with the idea. And then, that was like in the early 90s. And then, when all of these cool vans started coming out, I was like, you know what, I should try to make my own DIY van, something I'd always wanted to do. So that was like 2015, 2016. I started poking around at it. And I built out a ProMaster DIY van. And I did like everything wrong and I did everything the hard way. And I had to learn a lot of stuff, even though I kind of knew what I was doing because I had like van life a lot and I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but I didn't know exactly how to do it. So anyway, I started a blog called VanLife Outfitters back then. And I basically tried to be helpful. It's like if I learned something, I would blog about it. And that precipitated like people writing to me saying, hey, can you help me with this question? Can you recommend this product? La, 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 la. And so when 2020 happened, it was in the middle of COVID and Josh and I, who had met before, decided, what if we started a store, but the idea would be we only sold like the really cool stuff. Like, instead of people having to slog through like the Amazon style everything store, we would be just the cool stuff store, like the stuff we used. And that in itself would be helpful because it answers that first question, which is which of these 1,000 toilets should I get? Right. Because, we like to do a lot of research. We like to test stuff, especially now that we're a store. We can work with the manufacturers to get their products and see like their range of operability, like how good they are, how not good they are. And so that's the idea, is like VanLife Outfitters is everything you need for a DIY camper van build, but only the best in every category. And we take that pretty seriously. Like we know all the buttons and features and so on. We don't sell everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Josh, any thoughts?
No, I mean, pretty much a similar path to Zach. I have been living out of SUV, even in college when I would go to the beach, at night to watch the sunrise. But I really got into it around the same time as Zach, maybe a year after him. I sold my real estate company in 2015 and then started looking into it around 2016, 2017, and then hit the road around 2017, 2018. And that's when I met Zach when I was building out my van. He was one of maybe 2 or 3 blogs on the internet back then about camper vans. And now there's, lots of information and videos, but back then there really wasn't a lot of information. And I connected with Zach and just kind of, geeking out together about van builds and van products, and built out my van in 2016, 2017, hit the road. And then when the pandemic started, Zach and I had that conversation, and we basically said, let's open up a store and only sell the products that we've vetted and used and recommend, in our vans.
So important. And we're going to actually walk you through a number of categories on their website. This is what their website is. So if you have a separate device, please don't click off on this show and visit. But if you have a means to look at this, vanlifeoutfitters.com is where you want to go. We're going to actually run through some of the products. And I did a survey earlier today, folks, and this is the question was, which hardware component would you most want to upgrade in your camper van, assuming you have one? Clearly, lithium is a hot topic. You probably never hear this, Josh and Zach.
No, yeah.
So we're going to spend some time on this because you guys are really good experts on this. You got complete bundles of everything you need to replace AGM, which is what is kind of the old lead acid style, right? That is so typical in a non-lithium equipped RV. We're also going to kind of talk through some of their blogging on teaching. They're just really great teachers. Here's installing a nation's secondary alternator into a ProMaster camper van. So we're going to talk through that a little bit. We're going to talk about Peace, Love, and Vans. This is coming up very soon. We got some exciting announcements to make there. No rain, right, this year?
Absolutely not. No.
No
This
rain.
is year number 3, right? So
it
great.
never rains, and it will not rain. So
It will not rain. And this is one of their new adventures, and I'm really supportive of this. We'll talk to them about Together We Van. There's the URL, togetherwevan.org. And it's kind of a advocacy group. We can talk about this here as the show rolls on. So we got a big show for you. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. If we're meeting for the first time, howdy. My name's Scott Watson from Go Small Live Large, a van life devotee since 2017, but 18 things kicked off. And if you're a longtime viewer, I see a lot of familiar names in here. We appreciate carving out time for What's Up Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night. We'd like to know where you're coming in from, where you're watching from, either on the live or on the replay. So let us know the location you're in. Maybe you're in your van. I don't know. Maybe you're at the gym watching while you're doing, whatever those are. And let us know what your local fuel price is and your local weather. We're always kind of curious about that. And this is the question format. If you can please help us with that. It looks like this. Oh, we got a lot of folks saying things in here. This is great. So it's 3 asterisks followed by 3 question marks, and it helps me see your question more quickly than Josh and Zach can answer it more quickly. And if you got a big comment you really want to punch out, this is the format there. We're kind of say howdy throughout the hour, but I wanted to take just a few minutes. Look at this. Zach, Josh, we're a global phenomenon here. What's Up Wednesday? We had a Germany to miss just the last couple of weeks, so that's pretty cool. Awesome, right?
That's impressive.
Jamaica,
right?
All over the place.
So let me just run the folks through some announcements. I did a video on this today. Hopefully you got to see that. But I just want to call. We got a lot of stuff going on for the next 6 weeks. So we got a roundup. That's what I call a meet and greet. A roundup is in Gainesville, Florida, this Saturday, the 22nd of February at 12 p.m. We're going to meet up at Satchel's Pizza. Any chance you two have been to Satchel's Pizza?
I have not. No.
It's almost worth a trip from Sarasota to Gainesville to visit Satchel's Pizza. The pizza is amazing, but the place itself is just so cool. I want to move in. So come join us for that. Sunshine State RVs is paying for the pizza, and I have rumors that they will be with us, and even maybe a Stranger Palooza will be with us for that. So we're expecting anywhere from 15 or 5 to 15, maybe even 20 vans. So if you're in the North Central area, please join us for that. It'd just be a blessing to have you. We talk about van stuff and van gear, travels, and all kinds of things. And then next week on What's Up Wednesday, I'm going to be spending the first night in my new unloaned Embassy RV, the Dolphin SS model. I will be far out of Indiana by this time next Wednesday because I'm running to Florida. So join us for that. We'll give you my first thoughts of driving an Embassy RV more than just a couple miles from the factory. I'm really excited. This is a big deal we've been working on for a super long time. And just a couple of announcements. The next on February 27, I'm a guest speaker at VanLife Summit. There's the URL there. It's free to attend. It'd be great to have you join that session I'm doing on camping grounds, and urban camping, which is something I'm super passionate about. And then as I run from Indiana to Florida, this is our first Van Brie in February. Oh, hold on. What I'm encouraging folks to do is buy the early arrival ticket It's like $25 extra. So you can go get there together. Maybe I need bourbon. Excuse me. So I'd encourage you to do that. Is do the early. I won't get there till Friday because I can't make it from Indiana to Florida in 2 days with my head on straight. Maybe Josh and Zach take a second and talk about this. Let me see if I can clear my throat for a second.
Yeah, van life. Well, Peace, Love, and Vans. Camping passes are sold out, but we do have day passes. We may open up a couple if people cancel. We may be opening up a couple more camping passes, but they're pretty much sold out. But Birds of a Feather Campground. Scott has a couple rows now this year, and a couple streets now.
Pretty much half the campground is
pretty much.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
But yeah, we're super excited about it. Every year we just try to make it more interesting and add stuff. This is definitely a passion project for us. It's definitely going to be sunny. We've already covered that. So we're adding a tiki bar. We're going to have even more people on site. Even though we sold out of tickets, we had more tickets available than we ever had before. So one of the things that people love about it is our event, we're really trying to be a community event, not an expo. So we're like a community event with an expo rather than an expo. And so as such, we do everything from like parking people a certain way to the kind of way we do programming and the schedule to try to promote interactions between people at the event. And, sometimes, for instance, we park all the vans in rows that form streets. And so there's this kind of like architectural level design that's intended for you to meet your neighbors. And you're parked not necessarily with like your existing friends. You're parked in our event with hopefully who you will become friends with when you are through the weekend. And so we have all these things designed to really build community, have fun. We've gone really big with the music this year. So we have like really great bands playing, kind of introducing a lot of the ideas of a music festival into a camper van gathering. We're really excited about it.
That's super great. And some of the folks who have put this back on the screen for folks is Embassy RV is going to be there. Rover Vans is going to be there. Nuvo, brand new, kind of on the scene, is going to be there. Who else might be arriving?
Live More will be there. Moxie Van will be there.
Yeah. And we're really excited about our title sponsor, which is Live Wildly Florida. So they're like not a van company. They're all about promoting wild lands in Florida and getting people outdoors to enjoy them. So it's perfect for people who are van people because really a van is kind of is the vehicle literally that you're using to explore those spaces. We have about 30 different exhibitors. So there's definitely a really vibrant exhibitor portion of Peace, Love, and Vans, where you can see camper van builders, people who supply parts. We'll be there as VanLife Outfitters talking to people. So it's really, there'll be food trucks. So there's a whole section of exhibitors. And so there's definitely that aspect of it. But then there's an entire village surrounding with different campgrounds, lounges. We'll have a big stage. Victron Energy will be there. They're bringing their training trailer. So they've been a really great supporter for all 3 years of the event. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I like to think of it like Zach was saying, like a village. Really, we're trying to create this utopian village. And the commercial part of the village is only like 20% of it. And then the other 80% is just pure residential and entertainment and fun and education. And so that's the way that I like to look at it.
Yeah, it's super great. And I have a rumor to share, so keep it to yourselves. But I think my partner Kyle is actually joining us this year, so that is pretty cool. He joined us, so that'd be great. He's bound and determined. One last announcement to make. Then I want to show you the VanLife Outfitters store. We're going to talk about Lithium right out of the gate. So we have another roundup. That's what I call meet and greets, a roundup on Thursday, the 19th of March, 10 a.m., John Prince Park, which is in Lake Worth Beach. Lake Worth, they've kind of rebranded, added word beach, so property values went up. So Lake Worth, Florida, really easy to get to, but you need to use the right entrance. This is the one off Congress Avenue, and then kind of follow the red arrow. There you'll see my van. It'll actually be an Embassy RV now, so maybe it won't stick out quite as much as Miss Lily, but let's all get together 10 a.m. to 11, swap stories, and talk about how much fun we had at Peace, Love, and Vans. Cool. Okay, and all this is on my website. You probably know that website. It's pretty exciting. I'm really trying hard to stay up to date on it. And okay, are you guys ready? So let's shift gears just a little bit. So maybe just share. So we're going to get into the lithium thing here in just a second, but just kind of share your blogging. So you both kind of started, well, at least Zach did on the blogging. What's the purpose here? Is to kind of teach people how to do things. And here's Fiamma Awnings. That's a huge pain point for a lot of van folks. What would people expect?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it started with just what I thought whatever I learned when I was doing my DIY builds, that I thought there might be 2 other people in the world who could benefit from this, right? So I'm just going to write it down, or maybe it'll help me remember it the next time I do it. And now it's evolved to, we sell, we're one of the biggest van life suppliers in the nation. So part of that is we really focus on excellent customer service and support. So we need to understand all the products really intimately to be able to deliver that technical support. And once we start hearing the same kind of questions come up over and over again, we're like, aha, that should be a video or a blog post. And so a lot of the content on our blog is teaching people what we hear our customers asking to know. And that helps everybody, not just our customers. It really helps anybody can read the blog. But in particular, it helps our customers and our technical support team help folks. So we're trying to release like one video about every week at this point.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it creates a lot of outtakes, as you can imagine.
So Josh and Zach shared this video with me. Whoops, where'd we go, Scott? There we are. And I love this. So it's comparing 2 types of insulation. And please take a screenshot of this. Visit their YouTube channel. It's a super clever way of teaching what makes thinsulate versus wool different and why the pros and cons of both. But you could put this mad scientist spin on it. It was really cool. That takes a lot of time. Let me tell you, I can appreciate that. So yeah, just kind of
shout out to our video editor, Gary, who is like a master. We shoot all of this stuff. We're like sweating and it's crazy in the middle of the summer, and we're doing 1,000 takes because we're definitely not like actors. And we just send him this material and he makes this masterpiece out of our, whatever we give him. Whatever you want to call what we give him, which is, a challenge to work with as an editor.
100%. So maybe you can share his name with me. I'd love to find a good editor. I tried that a few times. It just never really worked. But all right, so I'm going to shift gears. I'm going to bring up the store. The first thing we're going to talk about is Lithium, because it was kind of a fad, I would say, when I got my van back in 2018. It was really not previously installed, to my knowledge, by anybody except Winnebago. Used Volta. And now it's really expanded, and it's huge in the DIY space. It's huge on people wanting to shift out of AGM batteries and getting, where am I going, Scott? Right here. Hold on one sec, folks. Store right here. And getting the benefits of lithium. Window right here. Camperman. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the store. You can see all the categories, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you guys cover everything, start to finish, bumper to bumper, really, right? It's pretty impressive. But let's talk about electrical components under Van Build Parts. And I just love this. It's really put well together here. I'm going to type in or press the best price bundles here, and talk about kind of cool here, right? So Victron is the brand you use, and you've been building with them for a long time, right? So maybe the first thing I notice is there's 12 volt. I've always had a 48 volt system all the way back to 2018. I see a trend towards 48 volt. Can you, in kind of plain English, maybe just talk to us about what 48 volt is versus the other styles and why that's been a trend toward 48 volt? Is that fair?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. Like 48 volt is, basically in mobile power systems, you have 12 volt, which is your most traditional, most popular still. You have 24 volt, and then you have 48 volts. And we are kind of recommending to customers either stick with 12 volt if that meets your needs, or if you need higher voltage, just go ahead and jump all the way to 48, which is kind of like the highest voltage that is not so high that you get into like a bunch of safety problems and different kind of codes. And the advantage as you go up in voltage, the current decreases. So at the same amount of power consumption in watts, you can have lower current, and that allows you to use smaller wires. It generally is going to produce less resistance and therefore less heat. And then when you get into the appliance world, notably high draw appliances like air conditioning, you're going to get some efficiency out of the higher voltage. So that's kind of like the baseline. Like, why would you go from 12 volt to 48 volt? Well, you're going to have like basically more efficiency throughout the system, smaller wires, less copper, less expensive, easier to deal with. And then in particular with that secondary alternator system that we sell for 48 volts, if you have, let's say, a ProMaster van or Sprinter van, and you bolt on this secondary alternator, and that comes with our kit, so it's a little alternator. It's not really that much bigger than this shape that I'm doing on the screen right now. It can produce, when you're driving at highway RPMs, like 5,000 watts of power, which is really tremendous. So, I don't know if anyone's ever kind of like seen like a 5,000 watt generator, these big Onan kind of things that are like bolted underneath an RV. Well, that little generator, which is in or alternator, which is in the top left of that picture, that little black thing, can produce that much power. And part of that is because it's higher voltage. Again, like 5,000 watts at 12 volts creates an awfully high current. Like it just becomes too unwieldy with the size of the wire, right? So by going to 48 volt, now we can push that power around the system more efficiently. And so that 48 volt secondary alternator system can produce the 5,000 watts. And we also have a 12 volt version, and it's great as well, but it produces about 3,000 watts. So there's kind of like, there's a point at which if your loads, which is like all the things you're running in your van, and your need to recharge them quickly kind of come together, then the 48 volt system makes sense. If you have a more like modest set of needs in terms of loads and charging, then 12 volt has a lot of advantages in its simplicity, in the fact that you don't need to do any conversions, right? So if you have a 48 volt system, that's great, whether that's our system or Volta or whatever. But at some point, you need to convert that back down to 12 volts because most of the things in your van or your RV, your lights, your fan, your refrigerator, they're going to be 12 volts. So like there is some simplicity and kind of like straightforwardness to a 12 volt system to accommodate all of that. But when you get in, if you want like the very best and you have the highest need to like run your air conditioner in the desert every day, 48 volts worth looking at, because you could do a 48 volt AC, run it overnight, drive for like an hour, and have your batteries completely recharged with that secondary alternator. So,
yeah. I know that story well, and when I show people on my Volta app, I usually kind of do two demos: a high idle, which brings in about 2,600 watts, versus I simulate driving by pressing on the accelerator to get to about a highway driving speed, about 2,500 RPMs. Yeah, it's putting in about 7,000 watts. So to your point, my battery's 9,000 watts total capacity. So it makes a giant difference, and people are just blown away. So let me go back to the website here. I think it's interesting that you guys again have a really nice system here. It's not inexpensive, but it's a massive upgrade in your van life freedom. I think I couldn't do what I do without this lithium system. But a lot of folks are kind of worried about, can I do this myself? Where do I bring it? Maybe just talk a little bit about having it installed. How does that work with VanLife Outfitters?
Yeah, so VanLife Outfitters ourselves, we're just the store. We don't do service installations. We don't do full builds. But what we do is, and we're trying to do this more and more over time, is we're trying to be able to have a sort of network of professional installers and builders that we can recommend, especially on power systems and certain other tasks that are like the least DIY friendly, right? So some people are fine putting in an air conditioner or a fan, but there's certain projects that just people want. Some people want help, even if they're DIYing everything else. And installing an alternator is a combination of a mechanical process, like wrenching on an engine, and an electrical process. And so we have some people here right now. That network is pretty well limited to our geographic area, so Southwest Florida, Sarasota. But we're working on expanding that pretty extensively. For instance, where we have a directory right now that is free for anyone. So if somebody is an installer, they can put themselves into the directory completely free. And we tell people, our customers, to go look there. Right after Peace, Love, and Vans, like the Monday after, a very well-known educator named Ross Lukeman is coming to our warehouse, and he's doing a hands-on training on how to professionally install camper van and mobile electrical systems. And so the graduates of these programs will also become part of this network. So over time, we can grow it to the point where people in all parts of the United States and maybe beyond can have these kind of like really solid recommendations on people they can trust to do the install really well.
That is
Yeah,
so cool.
and I just saw a comment from Miss Chatter that the mobile RV guy is doing one, and he's awesome. He's our customer, a really good guy.
We're going to take questions here and in just a second. So John Stanton says, good morning. Good morning, 8 a.m. Thursday in the Philippines. Did I earn a pin on the map? Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check to see if we got Philippines on there. But thank you, John. In the morning, having coffee, watching What's Up Wednesday. That's pretty cool. How's van life in Philippines, John? Let us know. That'd be cool. Let's talk about air conditioning. And then the next, then we'll take some questions. And the next thing we want to talk about has zero tech, but highly efficient, and that'd be external storage. That's a huge thing for a lot of folks with vans. So maybe let's just go back to the website here, and I'm going to look at air conditioning. You guys have a really, again, high quality products here, and maybe just kind of talk us through here. So here's the 12 volt, Josh or Zach, you were just talking about, versus some of the 48 volt in here. There's a 24, and here's some of the 48. So if people are looking for a air conditioning upgrade, oftentimes it's the same size cut in the roof van. It's just the size of the thing on the inside and the outside. Is that the way it works? So it's, if you've got a couple of guys and you're kind of a handyman, it's kind of a DIY project. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah. So usually the roof opening is 14 inches by 14 inches. There's a little variance there from time to time. And then, it's if you have the physical space on the roof and the interior thing, trim, vents, works for you, it's a fairly easy upgrade. Now, a lot of people who have, let's say, a Class B RV, they're going to maybe want to transition from like a 120 volt AC air conditioner to a 12, 24, 48 volt DC air conditioner. That adds a little complexity because that's new wires, right? You can't run the DC stuff through the AC wires typically because of a lot of reasons. But so that tends to be like the hardest part, is like you're going to have to snake those wires from your DC power system up into where your air conditioner is. And yeah, there's a lot of choices now. Like, a few years ago, even there were not very many DC air conditioners. They were all 120 volt AC. And the DC air conditioners are more expensive, but they're much quieter. They are much more energy efficient. So that's the reason to go down that road is if you're off grid a lot and you rely on your air conditioning, no matter how big your power system is, it's good to have that energy efficiency, and people really appreciate how much quieter they are when they're running.
And they're also a lot more low profile on the roof as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So
tend
you
to
guys
be
show
better
me your where do I go for your cool
Up
spreadsheet?
resources,
Resources?
go to resources, and then you're going to go down to the 12 volt DC rooftop AC
Yep.
comparisons.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is really a nice spreadsheet that they've put together using manufacturer information, and it just helps you see even just here's the pricing, here's the sizing. I saw BTUs in here somewhere. It was pretty stunning. But just again, a good place to shop, good place to buy, but a good place to go for research that's been kind of vetted. I think this is a huge time saver for so many people. I can imagine Roger putting together his own spreadsheet like this, but it's really cool that you've done this for a lot of folks like me, that these are eye charts to me. I'm just like, can you just give me more power, please? More cold air. It's Florida. Okay, let's we're going to talk about storage next. We got some cool options there, but let me go. Let's say hi some folks, and how are we doing on time? And by the way, you guys are having Libation Live with me right tonight. So this is Clyde Mays. This is cough medicine, apparently. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. This is pretty good. Clyde Mays, I discovered in my first trip to Alabama. I've never had this flavor of Clyde Mays. It's really good. 85 proof. So let's see. Sherry's saying Peace, Love, and Vans is the best van event. I would completely agree. Here's Rod saying no rain this year. We got Bob Scott. They were our guests. Was it last week already? No, that was a special embassy. They have a new van, and they're going to be at Peace, Love, and Vans this year. So thank you, Bob and Deb, for helping us last week. There's Neil and Britt in St. Augustine. That's cool. I love St. Augustine, right?
Yeah.
Neil and Britt are doing a workshop along with you as well.
I am doing one. What is their topic?
This week has been kind of a blur getting started.
Yeah, I know. Here's Plano, Texas, where it's 22 degrees. That's right outside of Dallas, just in case you don't know. Oh, my gosh. Is Rob being an EMT this year for you?
Yes, thank you, Rob. Yeah.
Neil and Britt do VanLife Finances.
Oh, that's a good one. Maybe I'll attend that one. God knows I need some money help. Yeah, we got a couple volunteers in the audience tonight. Rob and Sherry, right, is going to be there helping park vans. Russ is going. Yeah, right. Here's Lubbock, Texas. Holy cow, it's 19. That's pretty crazy. Let's see. Looking for some questions. I thought I saw a few down here. Yes to music. Are you guys having the same band you had last year? Was it the folk band on Sunday?
So Friday night we have a David Bowie tribute band. They're really good.
Cool.
Really, really good. So it's rock bands every night. So, and then Saturday night we have Moonstone Riders, which is kind of like psychedelic funk, a little bit more modern, hard to describe, mostly original music. And then Sunday night we have a band called Dead Set, which is a Grateful Dead tribute band, and they're also very good. So really, really good music.
That's super great. Here's Georgia Jack. He was at Van Fest up on the Space Coast a couple weekends ago. Still at Patrick Space Force Base. I've seen 3 more rocket launches. Yeah, that's a great place to hang out over there by Titusville, right? Man, you see with SpaceX, there's like one a week, it seems, if not more. Are you doing yoga, s'mores, and music again?
All that, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Also, if anybody else wants to volunteer, we have a couple spots left open, so they could reach out. Hello@peacelovevans.com. just reach out and let us know.
And I might mention, because somebody did talk about workshops, we will be live streaming from Peace, Love, and Vans on Saturday, which is March 8th, and Sunday, March 9th, from around 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And what we're covering is all the workshops. So we realize not everybody's in Florida, and so we're going to live stream all the workshops. We're going to live stream some highlights during the breaks between the workshops, and that's totally free. You can just go to peaceloveandvans.com/live, and we're partnering with Project VanLife so that they'll be simulcasting our live stream. We'll have it on our YouTube channel, on the Peace, Love, and Vans website, but also the Project VanLife website. So you can check that out. Totally free. Just kind of, if you want to learn from, people like Neil and Britt, people like Scott, there's going to be some really good workshops.
That's so great. And thanks for kind of making it available to everybody. But we really want to encourage day guests, because you get if you're kind of van life curious, what's the best van? Maybe you're looking for some innovation on the van you have, and you can't camp. The innovation in those DIY vans is just over the top. You come see me, whatever, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of good hotels in Zephyr Hills and Dade City that are less than 15 minutes from the event. So if you don't have a van yet, if you can't get a camping pass, you could still come for the day and get pretty much 90% of the programming at the event.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at the stage where you're just curious about camper vans, it's an incredible opportunity, because there will literally be like 500 vans, every kind of manufacturer, every kind of DIY. There'll be schoolie buses there that have been converted. So you can get so many. I mean, we always get great ideas. Like I'm always amazed at the incredible, like, creative ideas that people have. Like you can go to every single van especially the DIY, and go, wow, there's that one thing that nobody else would have thought of, but that individual had that kind of creative spark and did something really unique. And there's literally no other place you can see that many different vans and have them be open to you in one place.
Yeah, it's gonna be over 500 vans, and it's like 40 minutes from Tampa Airport. So fly into Tampa Airport, rent a car. You can stay like 10, 15 minutes from the gates of the park and just make a whole weekend out of it. We want to see you there.
It's just a great way to really get your journey on in 2025. I mean, it's already March, starting in just a few days, and why not get your journey on? So a couple questions here. So here's Peggy saying she's going to have a Walmart order for Kyle. Kind of an inside joke. Thank you, Peggy. Endless Epic Adventures wants to know, will VanLife Outfitters have parts for sale at Peace, Love, and Vans?
A little bit.
Yeah, we'll have some small Victron items, some flat jacks, some Ruby tags, and obviously all the swag. We have some new exciting swag that you'll see at the event. So we'll have that stuff available. But if there's something, we're not really bringing a lot of the larger products there, but if there is something that you want, you can buy it at the show. And I think we're doing free shipping for anything bought at the show. Is that?
Well, so much of our stuff is free shipping, but also so much of our stuff is huge. Like, nobody wants to drag a 80-pound inverter charger around, So we'll just ship it to you for free.
Yeah. Or you can come down to Sarasota and pick it up.
Yeah.
It's great. Sarasota is like 2 hours away. Not even.
Let's see, Miss Chatter. Here's a good question from Cheryl. Do you sell solar sails? What the hell is that, first of all, and do you sell them?
I don't know what that is. So we don't sell it, as far as I know. I'd be curious to learn more about what a solar sail is. Sounds cool.
We did meet somebody like a week ago that is working on a solar awning.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like out yet. But yeah, we do sell solar panels, but not solar sails.
Yeah, interesting. So here's Cheryl saying the R rating is way better with Thinsulate. So that's kind of a good, again,
True.
comparison to wool versus Thinsulate. So one was kind of flammable-ish, right? Versus the other. So be sure and watch that video. You'll get a chuckle.
So that's like kind of like the funny video. And then we have like an actual like professional scientific video that is linked in there. Both of those two videos are linked. One's the boring data driven video and the other one's the fun, Mythbusters type video. But we sent both products. We sent a wool product from one of the big wool insulation companies. We sent their product and Thinsulate to a testing lab to do sound testing, water testing, flammability testing, dusting, R value testing, all different kinds of testing. And we got all the data back and we made a whole video about all the test results, kind of stacking them up apples to apples. And then the video that you mentioned earlier, that's kind of like our fun video, kind of joking about the two products.
It was super entertaining, and I learned some stuff too, which is always cool. Excuse me, my voice. I'm not sure. So Rod's got a question here, gentlemen. Adding 3 100 amp hour lithium batteries to an existing 3 100 amp hour system. What are the gotchas to look out for? We know you guys are certified electricians, but any thoughts?
I mean, one thing is just it's the best practice is to use the same kind of batteries at the same capacity when you're doing a bank of parallel connected batteries. And that's partially because lithium batteries have battery management systems or BMSs built into the battery, and they're not all the same. And they have different parameters in terms of how they want to be charged and what they will do when they're unhappy. Usually lithium batteries are unhappy when they're too hot or too cold, if they're over voltage or under voltage. So you generally want to use the same kind and brand and same BMS and everything, same capacity. That's going to help them charge correctly to stay balanced, because lithium batteries are actually made up of individual cells that are connected in series to make a 12-volt battery in this case. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other is like the age, right? So even if you're using the exact same battery and you're upgrading, with new, like another 3 100 amp hour batteries, if they're like, less than 2, let's say ish years old, probably no problem. But if those batteries, everything has a lifespan, lithium batteries have pretty good lifespans. But if they are much older when you're upgrading, then you could run into issues where, again, they're not going to charge at the same rate. And they may get out of balance such that the sort of nominal voltage of the different batteries are different. But all that being said, they're pretty lithium batteries today with modern BMSs are pretty forgiving. So there's not a whole lot of gotchas. Just follow best practices. Make sure you're using the right wire gauge.
Cable length.
Make
sure you can configure your inverter.
And I'll mention that we do have, one of the educational resources that we offer are free example wiring diagrams. So you don't have to buy anything from us to use them. You can just go to our blog. And, we call them example wiring diagrams because they are just examples. They're probably not exactly what anyone is going to do, but they do provide a very good reference point for how to design your own system. And if you do buy one of our bundles, each of the bundles has a corresponding wiring diagram that's pretty darn close to what you will implement in your system. So in a case like that, where you're designing something for yourself, you can use our example wiring diagrams. Victron Energy themselves offers a lot of example wiring diagrams. So, there's enough information out there. You don't really ever have to do this from scratch, right? You don't have to do the engineering from the ground level. You can usually take something that's already been done and just tweak it. and that makes it a lot easier for sure.
So great. A few more questions. Then we want to talk about external storage. And so here's EEA. Do you sell Nation's second alternator?
Yeah, we do. We sell it individually, but we also sell it in our bundles. So you can buy it individually with the wake speed regulator, which is the one we prefer, or you can buy the whole thing. And the one thing about the bundles is like we're offering you a lot of choices around configuring those bundles, so you can get what you need, but you can also have you will also know that all the components are going to work together. So in other words, we don't offer choices in those bundles that are sort of like incompatible with each other. So that actually takes a lot of the pressure around getting the right stuff, because you'll get everything for your bundle from one provider. Even the choices you make, you can be assured are going to be compatible. And then, if you have any issues, we actually have, 3 full-time people on our technical support team that can help you out whenever you need it.
Well, that's cool. You guys are all in. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, lithium's a hot topic. And in fact, if you didn't see the video I did today, we got announcements coming up. We've got Lithionics coming on What's Up Wednesday soon. And I'm expecting to hear back from Volta. We're working to have them on again. Not had them on for a while. So 2 great lithium system suppliers. We'll meet the Victron guys and have them come on as well, because it's just a big topic and people really want to know lithium well. Here's a good example. SB says, what are your thoughts about the difference between lithium and the LiFeO PO4 batteries? This is kind of like 2 different chemistries, right?
Yeah, so lithium phosphate, the LiFePO4 thing, that's pretty much all that we're going to sell, and pretty much the only chemistry that you're going to see in the RV market. So that's and the reason for that is that they're much more stable than some of the other chemistries that you might have, let's say, in a cell phone or a tablet. And we've all heard stories about those like blowing up on airplanes and being crazy. So we basically only sell that LiFePO kind of chemistry, and that's really everything that's on the market for an RV. So what you're not really choosing between chemistry, you're choosing between the other characteristics of the battery, like how many amp hours does it have in terms of storage, like how capable is the BMS in terms of throughput, like how much current can I put in or take out. Does it have extra features like circuit protection or maybe communication to a Victron system or other system? So pretty much the chemistries are all the same for the RV market. It's that one single type of product. And then the choices are more about the features and the value of that battery.
Yeah. I would also add that Volta uses different chemistry. It's nickel, manganese, I mean, it's different one. The same that goes into Teslas, but it's the only one that, to your point, Zach, is different than most.
Yeah.
So we got a couple questions on who's the entertainment. So EEA here has that artist with the paintings. Will she be there?
Yeah. Her name is Lisa. She'll be there. She's not only going to be doing live painting, but she's also one of the bartenders at the Tiki Bar.
Far out.
She really wanted to do that. So we're like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it.
And then the solo girl singer last year on Friday.
We invited her, but she doesn't live in Florida anymore, so it's going to be hard for her to come.
So this is a good segue to talk about storage. So EEA looking for a quarter front roof rack for 2019 Sprinter. I'm not even sure quarter front. So it's just a little bit of the front of the van on the roof, right? Not the entire thing. Any thoughts?
I mean, Josh, that's probably more your territory than mine.
Yeah, not really sure what exactly you mean, but Zach and I both have kind of like DIY roof racks that we made out of 80/20. But you might want to look in our store at the front runner roof racks. Those can be, but not exactly sure what you mean with front quarter roof rack, but I guess it's just a smaller roof rack for the
Yeah.
front. But
Yeah.
I saw what I kind of like with I noticed like the solar is like a hot topic in the chat here, with Cheryl asking about the solar sales. And I'm wondering if EEA, his question about the roof rack, why don't you want a full roof rack if it has anything to do with solar? But I will bring up, the fact that solar is a great thing to have, but it's with these new secondary alternator systems, it's kind of becoming a little bit of like a kind of like a non-necessity at this point. It's becoming a little bit, I guess, obsolete for lack of a better word. But if you can reclaim that roof space for an air conditioner and for a little roof rack or a rooftop deck or extra rooftop storage, and forego all of the solar or just do one solar panel and just use the roof for other purposes, that would be my suggestion. Either a 48 volt secondary alternator system is pretty much going to give you all the power that you need, and you're not going to really need much solar. So that kind of eliminates a lot of the solar panel questions and the roof rack questions, in my opinion. Like the roof rack is good to have if you want to have a deck and storage and all that stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a quarter rooftop deck, or if you're talking about a quarter roof rack because you want to use the rest of the roof for solar, think about that.
Yeah, I always say that solar is a very fancy, sexy cocktail topic. Everybody asks about solar, but in my case, I have 240 watts of solar on the top of my van. The problem with solar on a van, in my opinion, is the real estate. You just don't have enough. And if I have my inverter on to run the AC or something else, my inverter alone consumes 200 watts in an hour. So I can't even keep my inverter on for more than 24 hours without running the battery pack dead because it's so consumptive, and solar cannot keep up. The only difference would be like for direct current. And I tell people, if you're in a warm climate, put your van in the shade, put a secondary solar array out. And if it's putting in 500 watts and you're just running the water pump and your LED lights and the fridge, you can stay on for a long time, but that's not the way I roll. A lot of people do like to do that for, stay up in the woods for a week or two with the moose and the mosquitoes. And you probably run out of water. And, if you're pooping in the dirt, I don't know, waste before you have any power problems on DC at that point. But yeah, solar's, I would say almost obsolete in the van because it's just, you can't charge your battery, run the AC off solar. It's just.
Yeah. And one thing that we bring up with people who have never lived in a van before is it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because you want to run your air conditioner or your fan, and so you have to park. You have to park in the sun to get the power to run your air conditioner. So it's like you're going to bake your van in the sun so that you can get the power that you need to cool it down. It's kind of like, a catch-22. So park in the shade, idle your van, or just run your van from A to B and get the power that you need when you get there, and don't worry about solar at all.
Right. Yeah, I mean, these secondary alternators are basically a replacement for a generator, right? So some people even call them like underhood generators. Like some of the RV companies will sort of like position them that way. But they're much quieter, and they're like, essentially built into your engine once they're installed. And so it's also a difference between like, we see that most of our customers do want to be off grid, not like connected to shore power. And that's why solar is such a hot topic. And we also see that they drive a lot, right? So, in an RV or a bigger rig, you're probably tending to be more stationary. But in a camper van, you tend to move a lot. And so the secondary alternator is actually really a great solution because you're moving anyway. And, we have systems that will heat your water when you're driving, that will, create a lot of energy to charge your batteries when you're driving. So we're big advocates of like taking this energy that's already being produced by the gasoline or the diesel that's moving your van around and creating energy and heat and so on out of it. So anybody who like has high power needs and drives a lot it's a really good solution. If you're very, and then there's the opposite. Like we have some customers that don't use a lot of power. They like have a tiny little light and a fan sometimes, and they're very conservative, propane cooktop or something, and they don't need much at all. And that's awesome. So it's like you kind of have to understand how you're going to travel, where you're going to travel, how are you going to use the van. There's plenty of places where you don't need an air conditioning. Like even in Florida today, don't need air conditioning today.
And if it's rainy out, like it was at last year's PLV, not this year's Peace, Love, and Vans, but if it's rainy out, you can't really charge via solar. So you kind of eliminate the unpredictability, if you will, with solar.
Yeah. So we're just a few minutes away from top of the hour. I want to show some of these clever storage ones, in particular the Slim Pro. So let me go to your guys' website. Thanks again for being here and sharing all this with us. So this might look familiar to folks. This is Peter of Rover Van Gear. So this is this is what I have on my setup. Love it. It's just been a game changer for me. And you guys carry these, which is great. This is the super fantastic. Saved my ass in a rear end collision. I'm on a ProMaster, so great. But we kind of talked about this, guys, before the show. Is this the right one?
So go to the store and then go to roof racks.
Exterior roof racks. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the on.
So for EEA, maybe he would like something like this VanTech roof bars if he wants like a quarter type of system. But then the Slim Pro roof racks, they're kind of modular, so you could potentially get a remove some of the crossbars in the back. I think he said front 1/4. So you could remove, if you click on the fourth picture there, so you could remove like the back 3 or 4 bars and just have the front part of it being the roof rack. But if it were me, I would potentially consider a DIY roof rack out of 80/20 for that. If you just really have your heart set on that front quarter type of roof rack.
It's probably worth mentioning, too, that a roof rack is a very convenient place to mount solar panels or a Starlink or all the other things, right? So even if you don't want to use the whole rack as a rack, the structure itself is actually kind of like a very, is actually where most people are connecting their, attaching their solar panels, connecting their Starlink, connecting any kind of like antennas or other storage boxes. And that, to Josh's point, if you sort of fabricate something out of 80/20, which is an extruded aluminum kind of product, then you open up the whole world of attachment points and flexibility around that for the panels, for the Starlink, for the antennas, for your paddleboard storage, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I think I read in the chat that he was maybe concerned about weight, but like these Slim Pro roof racks are like 60 pounds, 70 pounds, so they're not gonna add a ton of a lot of weight. They're made out of aluminum. The 80/20 is made out of aluminum. Yeah. These things aren't like the old school racks made out of galvanized steel or all that.
Yeah. That rust. We want to show this last piece here. You guys brought this up before we went live, and I think it's pretty clever. Maybe tell us, because so many in this audience and others including me, have had problems with their awning. Kind of tell us about this and what makes it really cool.
Yeah, we're excited about this. So probably a lot of people have heard of nomadic cooling. They started off making air conditioners, and now they've kind of rebranded as Nomadic Innovations, and they're producing awnings. And this particular awning, which they call their A2, is really unique. Like, we love Fiamma, and we love to pick out the products that are really unique and interesting and best in category. This one is able to mount either to a flat surface So if you have like a Class C or something like that, that's very flat, or notably a roof rack, and it is legless, meaning it's self-supported and it's electric. So the closest equivalent to this would be like a Fiamma F65 Eagle, but the Eagle is mounted on the roof, not a roof rack. So this is a self-supported, integrated LED light, motorized awning that can connect or attach to pretty much any roof rack. So it's kind of unique in the space, and it's also very like attractive. Like it's a really nice looking product when you like see it up there. We saw a number of them at the Tampa Super Show, the RV Super Show. So I think it's starting to be like, it's a pretty new product, but they're starting to see some installations in the RV space. Yeah, I think it's really cool, like unique awning.
Yeah, they've taken like a lot of the dream list of features that people want in an awning, and they put it all into an awning. They have another awning that we didn't add to the store because we didn't feel like it was, unique enough, or like it didn't fit our goal of having like only the best products and the most unique products for van life. But this one definitely does.
Interesting. And so many of us just, again, have had awning problems, and there's a lot of different ways to do awnings, but this one's really cool.
A lot of the awning problems that I hear from customers have to do with the legless motorized versions of the awnings. They can get a little bit finicky with the sensors, the wind sensors, and you can't tie them down like you can with a legged awning. And I actually did a whole video about this, kind of like explaining the differences between all the different awnings. But the most of the people that end up having technical difficulties with their awnings either have to do with the motor, the sensor for the motor, or just like that legless feature. So I personally like an awning with legs, a nice set of legs, and a crank, a manual crank. These awnings do not require a lot of strength. They don't require a lot of time to put the awning out. I can put my Fiamma F45S that has legs and a crank. I can literally put that awning out in less than a minute, 2 minutes, and doesn't require any physical strength at all. So it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to have a motorized awning with no legs. It's those bells and whistles, but they're really not necessary. And the other thing that people don't think about, with a legged awning, you can stake those in, you can tie them down. So in heavier winds, they're not going to have the damage that a motorized awning will have, or a legless awning will have.
Yeah, and I think a lot of folks have had the awning recall, the Carefree, because the Bluetooth something goes haywire and it automatically extends for no reason when you're driving. Super dangerous.
Yeah,
and I've heard from a number of people that as they do the safety recall, fixes that problem, it creates a whole nother series of problems. So awnings, love or hate them. Mine broke because I got rear-ended. It twisted the metal just enough that the motor burned out. We replaced the motor once. Carefree doesn't even make that model anymore, so I've just kind of given up on it. So maybe something like this, what we've been talking about, would be a nice solution for Lily coming down the pike. So I would
definitely recommend Fiamma over Carefree.
Okay, and I like the crank idea. It just eliminates so many problems, right? Let's see. Here's Paulette's got a question. Thank you, Paulette. What was the awning dealie that people had on top front give you privacy when the side door is open? Something new to me.
I think she's talking about the Fiamma privacy room, which basically converts your awning into an extra, kind of like extra living space. So it has walls. It matches with a Fiamma awning, and it has walls and a front. So you can basically make a little outdoor room out of your. Yeah. Is that what she's talking about?
Maybe so. That's cool looking, huh?
Yeah, I mean it takes up a lot of space, and it does require a little bit of time to set it up. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you like to go places and just stay in the same place for like a week or two. Otherwise, there's really doesn't make a lot of sense to deploy that thing unless you're going to be enjoying it for like at least a week or two.
Yeah, like good van people, hanging around for 2 weeks. Usually not. Let's
Set
see.
that up in the Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
I know, right? No, don't do that, please.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Here's Cheryl. Question, guys. Whoops, let me get this off. There we go, Scott. Do you carry screen doors, not rolled screens, but actual doors? Processing.
Oh, sorry, I was frozen.
We had a little
We don't carry screen doors. We just carry the roll-up screens. The screen doors, I haven't seen them in a lot of DIY vans. They're more of like with the RV manufacturers, but they tend to break a lot, and a lot of people are starting to use that door space. They're not just dedicating the entire that entire space to entry. So a lot of times those sliding screen doors aren't compatible with the floor plans. So we're just decided not to really carry those.
Fair. Looks like we're a little over time. Let's call a wrap. There's a few. So clearly Awnings next to Lithium is a hot topic. So maybe we'll have Awnings on and have some expertise on that. But you guys have done a really great job, Josh and Zach. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank everybody for watching. Any last thoughts? We didn't get to talk about we van together a lot, but you're going to be talking about that at the Peace, Love, and Vans. I'd really support your effort there to be an advocacy for the van life community, to educate governmental bodies, I would say, right? So maybe I can show the right here, so you can go to their website and check it out. I think I signed up for it. Oh, that's not it. Please hold. Please hold. Share screen window. Here we go. Yeah, check it out. Sign up for the email. And again, one of my favorite things we saw at the Van Fest on the Space Coast a couple weeks ago was the shirt said "Van life is not a crime," and this is kind of what the point is here. So togetherwevan.org. So check that out. Any last thoughts before we call a wrap, gentlemen?
I think we're set. Thanks so much, Scott, for having us on. This is fun.
Appreciate it. You guys do a great job. And we're going to see you guys in just a few weeks. It's pretty crazy, right? 2 weeks. Is that right?
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. We leave next Wednesday to go start setting up. So it's getting
so great. And thanks to all the volunteers. You still have some volunteer space. You get a whole bunch of free stuff as part of that. And we will be, we'll see you guys there. Hang tight in the studio. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. We certainly hope you get your journey on in 2025. This is the year. No excuses. And like I say, peace be with you. And we will see you soon. Thank you.